What would 230K in business funding do for you and your business? Well, this client got 230K in business funding for his business. I helped him do it, and I'm going to show you everything that we did in order to get him there, from well, really more of his data points from his personal credit, his business profile, different things about different data points about his business and his personal credit that you want to know to see if you can replicate the same so you can get 230K in business funding. And if you stick to the end, I'm going to really get down to it. I'm going to show you which banks we went to and how much funding we got from each one of those banks. Well, let's get it. What's going on? It's Colin Brown here from Business Credit Unlimited, and I'm back. So, look, what I have here on the screen is going to be the personal credit data points for this client that I'm referring to. This is live data. This is his actual profile. These are not made up numbers. This is a live client's profile. And we're going to talk about more information here, but let's just jump straight to it for the sake of time. All right. Credit score. This is what we see. And by the way, this form, we fill this out for each and every one of our clients. This is called our game plan. Okay. When you come in as a client, we create a game plan for you. And this is something of what it looks like. So credit score, his lowest credit score was 770. If you want the big business funding, then you want to have a big credit score. Okay. Especially if you're going for the 0% business credit cards. Now, do you need this high of a score to get funded? Not necessarily, but does it help? Yeah, it does. And especially if you're not making revenue in your business. Now, this client is, and we'll talk more about it, but if you're not making any revenue in your business, then you might want to consider having that personal profile so you can get your business funded, right? Now, might want to consider, you will need to do it. Don't ignore this. Build up your personal credit score however you need to. If it's negative items, get those out of here. It's not going to be an overnight process 9 times out of 10, but you need to at least be working on it. If it's your credit utilization, start paying that down. If it's credit history, open up just enough cards that you need. Stop opening up random personal credit cards just because you've seen somebody talk about it on the internet. What else? Stop applying for credit so much so your inquiries won't be high, or get them removed. The simple things, right? These things take time. I'm talking about it as if this is ABC 1, 2, 3. It's not, depending on your situation, but you need to be working on it. It can be done. All right. Now, his oldest credit card was only open in 2021. So it's very interesting, because normally I would really want my client to have more than 3 years of credit history, but he only opened his card up in 2021. So, I mean, hey, like I said, it worked for him and we still got him funded. And 3 years is not bad. I just like seeing even more than this, but it just goes to show you, I mean, even if you're at this range, you've only had a personal credit card for 3 years, you still can get funded 200K plus. Now, was he above 524? No, he was not. His highest limit out of his personal credit cards was actually 35K. We'll go to that in just a second. He had no negative items, no derogatories at all. He had opened some accounts up in the last 6 months, which is something we monitor greatly, because if you've had a ton of accounts open up in the last 6 months, you're probably going to get denied for anything that you apply for, whether it be personal or business credit. Banks do not like to see you applying for a bunch of credit in a short period of time. Now, when it comes to business funding, it's a lot easier to do that because we can remove the increase. Okay, but if you're adding a bunch of accounts on your personal credit and you got those inquiries that you can't remove, then it's not going to look too good to the banks. Okay, keep that in mind. That's why you have to be strategic. You don't just apply for credit just to apply for credit. You got to be calculated, meticulous even. Okay. Hard increase. This is actually like where he's at right now. He was more when he first started. I think it was like 1, 2, and 1 or something to that extent. Okay, but he didn't have that many inquiries, so we were able to get started ASAP. But it doesn't matter how many inquiries the client has when they come in, because we remove them anyways. But anything past like 4 inquiries, you need to be careful because you can start getting some denials, especially depending on the bank that you apply for. There's banks like a U.S. bank. They're a little bit more conservative with the amount of inquiries that you have. And there's some banks like American Express, they don't care near as much. So you just have to know for which banks that you're going to. Now, that was personal credit. I'm going to show you his actual credit cards that he has. Now, American Express is the card that he had a 35K limit with. You want to have a high limit with at least one of your personal credit cards, okay? At least one. What's a high limit? I would say anything past 10K. You could do 5K, but really to really help things move forward, you want to at least be 10K or higher. And he has that, obviously. He has a Barclays, KeyBank. He even has Open Sky. I don't recommend an Open Sky. Like if you are someone that's in the process of building your credit, I don't recommend doing like an Open Sky, Credit One, Kickoff, those kind of credit builder accounts. They don't look near as good to the banks. Obviously, for this client, it didn't matter. So I'm not saying that you can't have them. It's just if he had came to me before, if I knew him way before and he was my client beforehand, I would have had him do like a Chase, American Express, even Discover, a Bank of America. Did I say Bank of America already? One of the major banks. Even if it's a secure card, just make sure that the secure card graduates. So that way it looks a lot better on your profile, especially if a underwriter is manually looking at your profile. It's going to look a lot better than having like an Open Sky, one of the minor banks. Again, I ain't saying anything is like it's going to stop you from funding. We're just talking about being optimal here, right? So if you can prevent this, I would. Now, credit reports, we actually monitor all of our clients' credit and everything. Now, another thing, we have this business structure checklist where we go through, make sure their business name isn't high risk. They got a business email. So he had everything. He got a business email, business address, business phone number. Of course, the EI and his NACS code was on point. It was low risk. He had a DNB number and a business checking account prior into coming in. If you don't have these things, we work with you to get these things for you in a short period of time. Really, we go to the banks that don't require as much of this stuff because some of this stuff that you see on your screen, like a separate business address, a separate business phone number, depending on the bank, they don't really need those things. So it's best to go to the banks and say if you don't have any of this yet, or you guys LLC, maybe an EIN number. You don't have the separate business professional email address. You don't have the business phone number. You don't have the business address. You don't have a DNB number yet. You don't even have a business checking account. Maybe you do, whatever. You can focus on the banks that don't require that, get funded first while you're doing these things. Now, here's the time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to which banks that he went to get approved, all right? So, first, we have a GM Marcus. GM Marcus gave him 40K. Do not go for a GM Marcus business credit card unless you know how to do it, because if you get a lower limit of 40K, if you get approved, you did yourself a major injustice. We went to Divvy or Bill. It used to be known as Divvy, but now they just call it Bill. Bill, and we went here. This is not a 0% business credit card. We typically do 0%, but we knew he had cash coming in. He's making pretty good revenue in his business, so we decided to go here. It was just a quick little 10K, just a quick little 10K. Why not? You know what I mean? It's just good to have as much funding for your business as possible. Now, between two Chase Inc. business credit cards, he actually got 98,500 with just two Chase Inc. business credit cards. The reason that we're able to get these high limits is working with a business relationship manager. And that's how we get the high limits, guys. That's the secret, just to tell you straight up. That's how we do it. It's not because we went online or anything like that. If you're serious about getting higher limits, I would suggest working with a business relationship manager, because if not, you just go online, you're going to be at the mercy of the algorithm. All right. And with American Express alone, he got 50K. Why is that? Well, he got 35K on the personal side, so it made it a lot easier for him to get high limits on the business side, especially with American Express. That's typically how they work. Now, see, that's the beauty of working with someone like me, or really just me, is we can identify these things quickly. Like, there could be something that you could be sitting on with your business. You could be really close. You just don't know the information. You can come to me and within a week, boom, you got approved for a higher limit just because I know the things that you need to know to get you high limits. Okay. It's just information, guys. Like, really, when I say just information, I mean in this case, but there's obviously a lot that goes into this, but I'm just saying, information, just knowing things about business funding and how what the banks require, it helps a lot. All right. PNC 19K. He could get a lot more from PNC. I just told him that he could get up to 50K probably by the end of this year on like a business line of credit. So that's light work right there. Light work. Yeah. What Kendrick said, you don't like that. What did he say? Your best work is a light pack. Anyways, with American Express, he also got a line of credit with them. It was 12K, light work, but all this together, you do the math, 229,500 in business funding. And if you see these accounts right here that are bleeped out, I have to do that because those are some of the banks that we'll be going to next, because we're not finished with this client. Matter of fact, he told us he wanted to stop for a little bit because we could keep going. There are plenty of other banks for this client that we can go to get funding, and he's already at 230. So basically 229,500. If you mad, I'm saying 230 and it's 229,500. Hey, get over it. At a round up. We round up at school, right? No, but anyways, here's some additional data points really quickly. His business is in New Jersey. And why am I saying that? It matters because when you're looking at your banks or the banks that are in the banks that you want to go for funding, it's best to start, especially just start with the banks that are in the state that your business is located in. Okay, because you're good to go with those banks to apply. A lot of banks say for like a Truist. Truist is located here in Alabama, but it's not in California. So if you're in California, meaning not you physically, but also your business is headquartered in California, if you go for Truist, you're going to get denied straight up. So it's best to go for the businesses that the banks that are headquartered in the state of your business. Okay. Now, can you get funding from banks that are not in the state that your business is headquartered in? Yes, but a lot of times it doesn't work. A lot of people say you could do a foreign entity file, but a lot of banks, they don't accept those. Okay. Truist being one of those. So data points. He's been in business 10 years. Now, something very important to note. I'm being straight up with you so you can see that he wasn't just like a brand new business. That did help with the approvals. Okay. He had things that, like, if I was building a perfect profile, this client had things that I would have had way different, but it's not about being perfect or having the most optimal. You still can get funded anyways, but you have to play on your strengths. I knew this client had 10 years in business, so we used that to play. We played our, I ain't ending this out. Okay. You get the point. We use that strength to leverage that to get higher limit funding. Okay. And you don't have to have a business that is been established for even 1 year to get 230K, because you may have other things that are strong points on your personal profile. Okay. Now, and you can get there. Like, it's ways to kind of establish your business online to where it looks like it's been around for a long time. This client doesn't have a mortgage or any installment loans on his credit reports. That's another thing that's a lot different. If I was building somebody's profile, like if I could build a profile, like on I don't play video games, but I used to back in the day. But I know like NBA 2K, if you like building a player, you could adjust their stats and everything. If it was me and I'm building a perfect client, they would definitely have installment loans or like a mortgage, a student loan, a personal loan, an auto loan, those types of things. I would have that on their profile. Um, Most of them paid off, and maybe some just still like close to being paid off, but he doesn't have any. So it goes to show you again, some things, it doesn't have to be perfect. You still can get funded in various situations. So I'm going to do a lot of these so you can get hit with a lot of different scenarios. Since I started with a client that had 10 years in business, I think the next client I'm going to do is someone that was brand spanking new in business. So you can see, all right. Prior to joining, he only had relationships with Navy Federal and Key Bank, really. So his business is generate revenue. If you generate revenue, it's going to make it easier to get business funding. And it's funny, his original goal was only 75 to 100. When he came to me, he said, 75 to 100 is what I'm looking for. And we blew that out the water, more than double. So that is all the relevant data points that I could think of that is vital for getting your business funded, I would say. So just a quick recap. If you have the personal profile, you can leverage that to go for 0% funding for your business. You want to have your business established as soon as possible, but you do not have to have a 10-year-old business to get funding. It helps having revenue in your business. It really does. If you want to get higher limits than just a typical like 5 and 10Ks that you're probably getting online, or you probably got a business credit card right now with like 3K on it or something like that. If you want to get higher limits, you're gonna have to work with a business relationship manager. Now, if you want a shortcut, you want me to create one of these for you. You want us to create a strategic funding blueprint that is going to maximize the amount of funding that you can get for your business. You need one-on-one help. You're tired of going to YouTube videos and kind of stringing everything together. Don't worry, I got you. Just hit the resource in the description below, and you can schedule a call to speak with me or a team or a team member of mine, so we can see if we can get you funded too. But either way, you don't have to do that at all. Just giving you the resource, but I want you to have this information either way. So until the next client review, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.